Oh. Ready? Now.
Which is this? Is it mobiles or is it the mobiles? Shall we start? Good afternoon and thanks to all of you. Sound base a little bit low. Is it going? So first of all, we welcome all of you from the press. We have Jairam Ramesh, Honorable Congress Working Committee member of the Rajya Sabha, and AICC General Secretary in charge of communications here as a part of the election campaign. Along with us, we have our Vice President Uchongo, we have our Treasurer Dr. Mala, we have our General Secretaries Lianzwala and Roluna, and we have the Media Department Chairman Hmaa with us here. The flow of the event will be Jairam Ramesh will be addressing the press conference, followed with the questions, and we will formally launch the manifesto for the state of Mizoram from here. Thank you, and I request Jairam Ramesh to start the press conference.
Thank you, Matthew. I'm delighted to be back in Mizoram. Jairam has come back to Mizoram, and one of my favorite places anywhere in the world. I want to speak to you on 4 issues today in connection with the 2024 parliament elections, the Lok Sabha elections. The first point I want to make is that these elections are crucial for the survival of India's democracy, for freedom of speech and freedom after speech, and for the survival of this document called the Constitution of India. And I will explain why the survival of this Constitution is so very important for the people of Mizoram especially. It's important for the people of India, but particularly for the people of Mizoram. So this is the first point. The battle is not just a battle for votes and seats. It is a battle for the soul of India, for the survival of our democracy, and for the protection of our sacred constitution. The second point I wish to make to you is that there's a fundamental difference between the BJP and the Congress. Fundamentally, the BJP wants to impose uniformity across the country. The Congress aims to strengthen unity, not impose uniformity. So therefore, this battle is between the BJP's idea of imposing uniformity and the Congress's idea of strengthening unity through celebrating its diversity. The Northeast, particularly Mizoram, one of the 8 states of the Northeast, is a land of diverse religions, diverse cultures, diverse languages, diverse ways of life, diverse ways of eating, diverse ways of dressing. All this is under threat when the Prime Minister says, one nation, one election, one nation, one tax, one nation, one language, one nation, one religion, one nation, one culture, one nation, one history, one nation, one God. This is against the very idea of India. It is destroying the soul of India, the character of India. So we are fighting these elections to preserve our diversities that have defined India, not to impose an artificial uniformity across states, across cultures, across religions. And what has happened in Manipur 11 months ago is only the beginning, is a trailer. The Prime Minister says last 10 years is a trailer. But I say last 11 months is a trailer for the BJP RSS agenda in the Northeast. What they have done in Manipur was a deliberately engineered violence in which hundreds of people have been killed, lakhs of people have been displaced, hundreds of places of worship have been burnt down. And Mr. Modi and his government have bluffed the Meiteis, bluffed the Kukis, bluffed the Nagas, and they have followed a policy of bluff and rule. The British followed a policy of divide and rule. Mr. Modi is following a policy of bluff and rule. So what is happening in Manipur? 11 months Prime Minister cannot come to Manipur. He cancelled his visit to Mizoram in the last assembly election because questions were being asked. If you can come to Mizoram, why can't you go to Manipur? 11 months he has not spoken to the Chief Minister of Manipur. He has not met MPs, not met MLAs. He's not met political parties. And he has not spoken for more than 2-3 minutes on the horrific incidents. And what has happened in Manipur is a direct result of the policy of polarization and divisiveness of the BJP and the RSS. Today it is Manipur, tomorrow it could be Nagaland, it could be Mizoram, it could be Tripura, it could be Meghalaya, it could be Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, and it certainly could be Assam. So Manipur is just the beginning, and it shows the results and consequences of the BJP's politics of poison, politics of hate, politics of dividing society and not respecting the cultures of the local people. My third point is that in the last 10 years, the Modi government has adopted a large number of policies and laws which are detrimental to the people of the Northeast. And I will give you one example which will completely destroy Mizoram, which is the amendments to the Forest Conservation Act. The amendments to the Forest Conservation Act that were bulldozed through Parliament in 2022 will ensure deforestation, the destruction of forests across the Northeast, particularly in a small state, forest-rich state, which has borders with Bangladesh, which has borders with Nagaland, with Myanmar. This whole forest areas is completely going to be destroyed. 3,500 crores, which is owed to the state of Mizoram, has not been paid by the central government. Why? Mizoram is completely dependent on the central government for its budgetary expenditure. And a delay of even 1 day, of even 1 rupee, goes against the interests of the people of Mizoram. That is why in today's newspapers you would have seen our Congress campaign. 5 justice. We have promised 5 justices. Justice for women, justice for youth, justice for farmers, justice for workers, and social justice for the weaker sections of society. And that is our agenda in the Lok Sabha elections. A couple of points I want to make on the situation in Mizoram. Yesterday, the External Affairs Minister was here, and the newspapers are full of reports on what he said. The free movement regime, FMR, was introduced in 2018 by his own government, and it has been withdrawn unilaterally by his own government over the objections of the chief ministers of this region, particularly the chief minister of Nagaland and the chief minister of Mizoram. What happened in Manipur is a consequence of the BJP RSS policies. To blame some other country for what happened in Manipur goes against all facts, goes against all realities. In 2008, I was Commerce Minister. I had been to Sittwe in the state of Rakhine in Myanmar. And Dr. Manmohan Singh had sent me, and we launched the Kaladan multimodal transport project in 2008. This was to build a port in Sittwe in Myanmar, then have a inland boat journey from Sittwe to Paletwa in Myanmar, then build a road from Paletwa to Zorinpui, which in Mizoram is called chhawpchhuah, and then finally build a 100-kilometer highway from chhawpchhuah to Aizawl. So this provides connectivity from Kolkata and all other Indian ports to the northeast, particularly to Mizoram, via Sittwe in Myanmar. This is the importance we had given to Myanmar. I went to Myanmar 5 times in 2 years. And we launched this most ambitious Sittwe project, the Sittwe Port project. Now, I read recently that it was given to the Prime Minister's favorite businessman, and the Prime Minister's favorite businessman has walked out of that project because of what is happening in Myanmar. This is a complete betrayal of the objectives with which this project had been started. This demonstrated. I had been to Zokotar, which is the border trade point with Myanmar, and we created infrastructure for trade at Zokotar. And I think, if I remember right, I also went to Demagiri, which is the border trade point with Bangladesh, and we created border infrastructure there. Because we wanted Mizoram, trade and commerce of Mizoram, anthurium, mandarin oranges, passion fruit, handicrafts, to get new markets. Now, all that has been forgotten. Prime Minister keeps saying act east, look east. There is absolutely nothing on the ground. And on the contrary, what he has done by withdrawing the FMR, basically blaming Myanmar for what has happened in Manipur, blaming some other country for your own domestic failures, your own ideology, destroyed Manipur society, harmony in Manipur society. You made false promises to Métis, made false promises to Cookies, you made false promises to Nagas, and they boomeranged on you. It just blew up. And you're blaming some other country. This is not fair to the people living in this region. Finally, let me say that the Congress party and its allies in the India group, we have 28 parties, we are confident of getting a clear and convincing majority. Like what happened in 2004, nobody expected the Congress to win. Everybody thought India is shining. Mr. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, but the Congress emerged as the single largest party. and formed the government. Same thing happened in 2009. I think 2024 will see a repeat of 2004 and 2009. Because people of India are fed up of 10 years of drama, 10 years of false promises. And it is only the Congress that is standing up to the policies, the ideologies of the BJP and the RSS. All regional parties have compromised with the BJP. In my view, the MNF and the BJP and the ZPF and the BJP are two sides of the same coin. Given a chance, the ZPF will go and sit in the, the ZPM will go and sit in the lap of the NDA. A vote for the ZPM is basically a vote for the BJP. A vote for the MNF is a vote for the BJP. Freedom from BJP will only come, freedom from hate, fear, intimidation, will only come with a vote for a Congress. Because it's only the Congress party that has got the courage and the determination to fight these forces who are changing the very character of our country. Now, we have released a manifesto a couple of days ago. The essence of the manifesto is actually what you have seen in today's newspapers, Mizoram Post, and some other papers you have seen. This is our 5 Justice program. This manifesto, we are formally, it's a national manifesto for a Lok Sabha election. It's not for a state election. But this is a manifesto which has been prepared after listening to lakhs and lakhs of people. Mr. Rahul Gandhi did the Bharat Jodo Yatra, 4,000 kilometers from Kanyakumari in the south to Kashmir in the north. And then he did a 6,200 kilometer long yatra from Manipur to Mumbai. And based on all that he heard, based on all the suggestions that the people of India, the youth, the women, the tribals, this manifesto has been prepared. This is not the agenda of one man. This is the agenda of the people of our country. This is what the people of our country are seeking, are wanting, and I have great pleasure. I request my colleagues to just stand up and so that formally we release the manifesto. This manifesto is called Nyay Patra, which means this is a charter for justice. Justice for women, justice for farmers, justice for youth, justice for workers, and justice for the socially backward, educationally backward, and disadvantaged groups of our society.
So we can raise our hands. Yeah, we all can raise our hand.
Our 5 promises, 5 nyais, 5 guarantees, 25 guarantees, 5 justices, 5 fingers in our hand.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, if there are any questions, I'll be willing to answer them. Thank you very much.
One by one, please.
BJP candidates say that if you elect us, if you elect me, I'll become a minister. So can Congress party promise to become a minister from Mizoram, minister from if you elect me?
You know, I don't make cabinets and I don't make governments. I mean, I certainly work towards ensuring that there is a Congress government. But let me say that I don't know how many of you saw when there was a debate on Manipur in the Rajya Sabha, the MNF MP was actually prevented from speaking. The entire country saw this. So, a party that does not allow any other voice to speak, I don't know what value you can put to the dream of this person to become a minister. The Minister of State for External Affairs in Mr. Modi's second government is R.K. Ranjan. He is an MP of Inner Manipur and he has not met the Prime Minister for 11 months. Prime Minister has not called him. Prime Minister has not met him and asked him what is happening in Manipur. So, you're asking me if the Congress candidate becomes an MP and when the Congress forms the government, will our candidate, who's a very distinguished candidate, who's had a very distinguished record in the police as a police officer, I'm sure he will be given very serious consideration. But we are fighting this election not to make ministers. We are fighting these elections to save the Constitution of India. The BJP candidate must realize, and I forgot to mention, why is the Constitution of India so important to the people of Manipur? Which our BJP candidate must also know. Because in 1987, on the 20th of February 1987, Article 371G was introduced in the Constitution of India. And I don't know how many people today are aware of what Article 371G says. And let me just take half a minute. Article 371G, the heading is Special Provisions with respect to the state of Mizoram. And it says, notwithstanding anything in this constitution, no act of parliament in respect of 1. Religious or social practices of Mizos. 2. Mizo customary laws and procedures. 3. Administration of civil and criminal justice involving decisions according to Mizo customary law. 4. Ownership and transfer of land shall apply to the state of Mizoram unless the Legislative Assembly of the state of Mizoram by a resolution so decides. The BJP removed Article 370 from the Constitution. Very easily, they can remove 371G from the Constitution. That is what we are fighting for. We are not fighting to become ministers. We are fighting to save Constitution and we are fighting to save Article 371G, which provides for a special status to the state of Mizoram. So I would request my BJP opponent to think about 371G and not dream of becoming a minister.
Sir, last time when you visited Mizoram, like on October last year, so you have alleged that the BJP is functioning as a ghost party.
Sir?
You have alleged that the BJP is functioning as a ghost party, trying to infiltrate the state. And also,
Yes.
just now we have said
Yes.
that the BJP, the MNF and the ZPM are the two sides on the same coin. So while the ZPM have said that they are not inciting with the NDA or the INDIA, so what made you say that they are two sides on the same coin?
All regional parties in the Northeast are basically front organizations for the BJP. It's only the Congress that is standing up to the BJP. Every regional party in Meghalaya, in Assam, in Arunachal Pradesh, in Mizoram, in Nagaland, all of them are basically they have either or secretly, they are basically outfits of the BJP. Many regional parties require washing machine. You know, the biggest brand washing machine. I was looking at in the hotel that I was staying. There was not here, but LG was the big brand. But LG is no longer the biggest selling brand of washing machine in India. It is the Kamal brand. The Lotus brand is the biggest washing machine. And the best selling washing powder is no longer Nirma washing powder. It is Modi brand washing powder. And every regional party in Northeast requires washing machine and washing powder. Starting with the Chief Minister of Assam. Every Chief Minister in the Northeast, every regional party in the Northeast, the BJP uses the ED, the CBI, and the income tax to make them fall in line. I know the election propaganda of the ZPM was that we are not with the BJP. But that is for public consumption. Reality is, at the first opportunity, he himself gave the answer. My friend here gave the answer. When he said that they vote for me, I mean, you make me a minister, right? He's a BJP candidate who said it. But it could well be the ZPM candidate. It could well be the MNF candidate. Because these are all, the BJP has realized it cannot come directly. So it is creating small parties. Divide and rule, bluff and rule. So I am not at all convinced that the ZPM is serious when it says we will not have any compromise with the BJP under any circumstances. Let the ZPM say this. Let it have the courage to stand up and say, we will never compromise with the BJP and its ideology under any circumstances. I am making this commitment on behalf of the Indian National Congress. We will never, under any circumstance, compromise with the BJP and the RSS on its basic ideology. We will never do it. But the ZPM should give this categorical assurance. Has it? It is not. Yes, ma'am.
So yesterday I asked the foreign minister himself because it's a very hot topic, burning topic right now.
Which one? Sorry?
FMR and fencing of
FMR, yeah.
Yes. So he's saying that like we have to make certain decisions when we look at our neighboring, because there is no governance in Myanmar. Everything has collapsed. The machinery. So this is for the security of our territory and in particular the bordering states. So any reaction on that?
You know, unlike Mr. Modi and unlike Mr. Jaishankar, I will not make foreign policy an instrument for domestic politics. The Prime Minister and the External Affairs Minister are making statements that are threatening war with Sri Lanka. They're talking of agreements signed way back in 1974 and 1976. I am not going to follow that route where we make foreign policy issues of domestic politics. But I will say this, FMR was the policy of the Modi government in 2018. Now what you're saying, because Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland are being threatened from Myanmar, we are going to revoke the FMR. That's what has been said, isn't it? You don't want to take responsibility for what has happened in Manipur. Your Prime Minister doesn't come to Manipur. He's never been to Manipur. I don't think the Foreign Minister also has been to Manipur in the last 11 months. And you are now using that to give an impression that whatever has happened in Nagaland or Mizoram or in Manipur is a direct consequence of what is happening in Myanmar. Of course, conditions in Myanmar are very unstable. Of course, there is ethnic conflict taking place in Myanmar, but this is not new. This has been going on for quite some time. So I think, first of all, I would say, answer to your question, I don't wish to make foreign policy issues. This is maybe a foreign policy decision, maybe a strategic decision. I don't want to make that an instrument of domestic policy, politics. I don't want to do, I don't want to take the same attitude and approach which the Prime Minister and Mr. Jaishankar have taken with respect to Sri Lanka. So that's not what that's not what the Congress party believes in. All I can say is that please own up to your basic responsibility of what happened in Manipur. Let me take the example of Nagaland. In 2015, Mr. Modi signs an agreement with one group in Nagaland. In 2017, he signs a second agreement with another group in Nagaland. And in 2022, he signs a third agreement with another group, yet another group in Nagaland. This is bluff and rule. And today you see what is happening in Nagaland, the reaction to this bluff and rule. So, the External Affairs Minister has given up all pretense of being a professional. And he is indulging in politics of the worst type when it comes to India's foreign policy. And I am not going to follow his approach.
Sir, I hope my question will not irritate you.
Will not be?
Irritating us.
Irritates.
See,
No question irritates, only answers irritate.
the BJP has been in power since 2014. Yeah, and still its influence we know is very powerful. Still now, then it is a well-known fact that the Congress is trying hard to out, I mean to dethrone the BJP, and BJP will coming back to power. But it is also well known that as part of our observation, the party influence, that means Congress influence, is also gradually going down. So do you believe that there should be any sorts of reform within the Congress party?
Well, it's not an irritating question. It's a very legitimate question. Unfortunately, it's an ill-timed question because right now I am answering questions on the Lok Sabha election and not on internal reform of the Congress party. But however, since you have raised, I will answer. First of all, I request you to not use the word, withdraw your word, dethrone. We are not dethroning BJP. We are seeking the mandate from the people of the country to vote democratically the BJP out of power. We're not dethroning anybody. Of course, Mr. Modi thinks he is Samrat, emperor. So that way, yeah, you could say we are dethroning. But in my mind, we are fighting democratically, seeking a mandate from the people to remove the current Prime Minister and his party from the power in New Delhi. That's first. Second, it is true that the Congress party, which has ruled the country for many years, has lost power in many states, including Mizoram. There was a time when Congress party had a virtual monopoly of power in the northeast. Now, that monopoly has been lost. Although the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, his father was a congressman. The Chief Minister of Meghalaya, his father was a congressman. Chief Minister of Assam was a congressman. Chief Minister of Nagaland was a congressman. I'm sure there are a lot of people in ZPM also who may have been with the Congress. But general point is Congress party has lost out. We've become weak. We have lost power. There are many reasons why that has happened. And I think we have been, uh, we have responded to changing aspirations of the people. Perhaps we should have responded in a much more timely and aggressive manner. Uh, Also, the fact is that uh, a lot of regional parties came up. We could not accommodate everybody because we were an old party, well-established party. So people left us, started new parties, and so those parties then came to power. Those parties fought us and came to power. So there are. It's a very complex set of. I don't. I can't give you soundbite replies on this question that you have raised. Why the Congress party has become weak, but the weakness of the Congress party till 2009, we won 2004. Nobody expected us to win. We won 2009. Nobody expected to win. 2014, 2019, we have lost, and we lost by a pretty heavy margin, which was a very disappointing defeat. But meanwhile, we've won some elections also. It's not as if we have not won. We have won Karnataka, we have won Telangana, we won Himachal. We have lost also. We have lost Rajasthan, we have lost Madhya Pradesh, we have lost we lost Assam, we lost Mizoram. Last time, I came myself for campaigning, and we couldn't, to use your word, dethrone Zoram Thangaji. ZPM dethroned him. But it's a very complex issue. But all I can tell you is that the favorite pastime of people in India is to write obituary of the Congress. But the Congress is a peculiar animal. It refuses to die. In spite of the desire of many people that it should die, it doesn't die. It comes back. It bounces back. Because there is something in the Congress which reflects the basic character of Indian society. And that something is live and let live. Respect for different religions, respect for different languages, respect for different culture, respect for different ethnic groups. The Congress is basically a liberal party. It's a democratic party, it's a liberal party. It's not an authoritarian party of the type that the BJP is. And that has its strengths, it also has its weaknesses. I think these weaknesses are a temporary weakness, frankly.
Yes.
I just have two questions. So you often speak about the Manipur issue. If Congress was in power, what would it do differently from the BJP other than visiting Manipur? Like,
Mr. Rahul Gandhi incidentally went to Manipur twice
yes.
in the last 1 year.
Yes. So how would you bring peace between the two ethnic communities? That's one. And the second one is recently in the elections, Congress unfortunately saw a crushing defeat in Mizoram. So why would the people's mind change now ahead of the Lok Sabha elections? The same allegations that ZPM working for BJP were set ahead of the assembly elections too. So what is the hope of the Congress for this election?
Well, the second question first. These are assembly elections have their own logic, you know. So regional parties have an advantage when it comes to assembly elections because they're appealing to the voter in their language, taking up their issues which have local relevance. Parliament election is fundamentally different. Okay, the issues are different in parliament election. Now, it's true that Mizoram sends only one MP. It is true, only one. But that one is very important. One is very important for us. Everyone is important for us. So it is true that we could not get a mandate in the assembly election. Uh, why should people change their mind now? The reason why they should change their mind is because if the basic character of India is going to change, if Constitution of India is going to be rewritten, if Article 371G is going to be removed, then the people of Mizoram are going to suffer. No? So the reason is we are fighting a national election on national issues But those issues are of different significance when it comes to an assembly election. In the assembly elections, the Constitution of India was not the burning issue. But today, it is a burning issue. It's a defining issue in a parliamentary election. So that's the reason why the people of Mizoram who did not vote for the Congress during the assembly election, during the parliament election, have necessarily to vote for the Congress to protect Article, to put it very simply and bluntly, if you want Article 371G to remain, you have to vote for the Congress. Sorry?
First question on Manipur.
First question on Manipur. Well, Emaw Singh was Chief Minister of Manipur for 15 years. And we didn't see this type of, violence and hatred and divisiveness. You remember the last time Manipur burnt was in 2001 when the High Court was burnt and the Congress office was burnt and the assembly building was burnt. Then afterwards there was a long period of peace. So what would we have done differently? We would have ensured that this type of, and let me also tell you something very, very interesting which people normally don't realize. In the assembly election in Manipur, right? The assembly election in Manipur took place in 2022. In February 2022, Biren Singh became Chief Minister. Look at the majority that the BJP got. They got 10 out of 10 in cookie areas. They got 10 out of 10, they meaning BJP and its allies, got 10 out of 10 in the Naga areas. And out of the 40 seats in the valley, they got probably 25. They got a huge majority. Out of 60 seats, they almost more than 2/3 majority. The question that Mr. Jaishankar has to answer, Home Minister has to answer, Prime Minister has to answer, why after getting almost 70% of the seats in the election, after getting such a mandate, within 15 months, Manipur began to burn. In February, Biren Singh became Chief Minister, February 2022 or March, if I forget. I think end of February I think it was in March 2022. And in May 2023, Manipur begins to burn. Why? It's those 10 cookie MLAs who passed resolutions against the BJP that started off everything. It's not Myanmar. It's what is happening within the politics of Manipur that resulted in the violence in Manipur. So this would not have happened in a Congress regime.
Any
And
more
of course,
questions?
I should add what I said at the beginning, that in the last 11 months, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been to Manipur twice. And Mr. Prime Minister could not even go once.
Will you impose president rule if you come to power and it's in Manipur?
Will we?
Until the
Impose,
ethnic
president,
class.
will you impose
Will
president
you
rule?
impose president rule
See,
until the
My
ethnic
dear
class
sir,
will come
I
to power?
neither make ministers nor do I impose presidents. You are asking me hypothetical questions. But I can tell you, we have consistently said for the last 11 months, and not only have we said, the Supreme Court also has said that there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery in Manipur. Complete breakdown of constitutional machinery. Article 355 has already been applied without announcing it. See, Mr. Modi is a very interesting person. He doesn't announce what he wants to do at times. He has imposed Article 355. He has not announced that he's imposed Article 355. He's already imposed an emergency in the country, but he has not declared an emergency. There is an undeclared emergency in the country. He has not declared that imposed an emergency, but everybody knows that there is an emergency. You speak out against him, and you know what happens to you. You get an ED, you get a CBI, you get an income tax. So I think there has been a complete breakdown of the constitutional machinery in Manipur, and President's rule is certainly one option. Many of my colleagues in Manipur have actually advocated President's rule. Yeah, please.
Sir, we're talking about using the power of agencies like CBI, ED, and Income Tax to gain the power by the BJP. So we have seen that the Central Congress Party account is also freezed, and affects a huge amount of particular things given to the Congress Party also. How does it affect the Congress Party campaign for the election for the coming Sabha? Does it also affect the Congress Party in Mizoram to getting their funds from the central?
Well, Mr. Modi froze many of our accounts. Many of our accounts of the AICC, of the All India Congress Committee, were frozen. We have got an income tax notice of 3,800 crores. Political parties don't pay income tax in the country. Income tax law says that political parties are not subject to income tax. We have got an income tax notice of 3,800 crores going back to 1994-95. This way they will reopen even accounts during Mahatma Gandhi's time. Now, 3,800 crores is a claim they have made on us. Okay, we went to the Supreme Court. So there the government said, okay, till the elections are over, we will not do anything about this. We will not recover this money. But 300 crores they've already taken. They've already taken 300 crores. Do all of you see Hindi films? Hindi film not very popular in Mizoram. No?
Not much.
Not much. There is a very famous Hindi film song, Chura Liya Hai. Chura Liya Hai. 300 crores has been taken. It is whose money? It is money given by Matthew Anthony, by me, all workers, all everybody. Donations from the public. 300 crores has been confiscated by Mr. Modi. So, this is an attempt to cripple us. This is an attempt to weaken us financially. However, we have answered Mr. Modi today. This is our answer. Today, in all the newspapers, in all television channels, in all digital media, you will be seeing this from today. From today. So Mr. Modi can think that he is crippling us, but we are not going to be frightened. So we will continue. But 300 crores of Congress funds, Congress party worker funds, public funds, has been confiscated by Mr. Modi. So that answers your question.
Thank you all. Special thanks to General Secretary Pootankar and emaw for organizing this, and thanks all for you joining us for this press conference. Thank you. And we we request you to join for the refreshments, and we request you to take this news forward as possible as forward in the regional language to the last person in Mizoram. Thank you all. God bless you.
What about tea?
Yeah, there's refreshments.
Refreshments are here.